The Curse of Strahd is a game played by adults and recorded for an adult audience. Sometimes we use adult language and explore adult topics. Consider yourself warned.
Hello and welcome back to the Superior Adventurers Guild. I'm Dave, your humble dungeon master, coming to you from the shores of Lake Superior, and we are about to jump back into another episode of Curse of Strahd. But before we do, I want to introduce our players in this wonderful game. Let's jump over here and I will, there we are. Click the button and they shall appear. So I'm sitting here tonight with Andy, who's playing Corben Brindel, a half-elf Paladin, and member of the Order of the Silver Dragon recently, which is pretty cool. I've got Shannon here playing Mara Brightwood. Mara is a Cleric of the Morning Lord, human Cleric of the Morning Lord. She's trying to bring some light to this gloomy Barovia. And then this weird-looking character down in the bottom right-hand corner is well, that's Ben. Ben has turned into a cartoon image of a dwarf, which is fitting because he's playing a dwarf, Bjorn Ironhide, a Dwarven Barbarian, new to the party just in the last couple sessions. This Barbarian, although Ben's been with us since pretty much the beginning. Like, geez, what has it been? Almost 2 years, right?
Yeah, I think so. It's been 2 years and next month or something like that.
Yeah, that's crazy. We've been playing Curse of Strahd for a long time, and we're getting close. Things are getting pretty crazy. We'll talk a little bit about that, but yeah, we're here. We're ready to play, and here we go. Let's jump into a recap here from last session. So in the last session, the party, having reluctantly accepted an invitation to have dinner with Baron Strahd von Zarovich, found themselves at the gates of Castle Ravenloft. They were greeted with hospitality from the Baron's Chamberlain, Rahadin, and met two vampires named Escher and Sasha. They were ushered into a high tower where they met a third vampire, Ludmilla, the mistress of Ravenloft, and they were given some time to cleanse themselves, talk a little bit about their plan, wipe some of the filth of battle and wilderness that they'd been traveling through for weeks and weeks. They were rightfully skeptical of their hosts and avoiding taking any sort of gifts or even clean garments that were presented to them. They were leery of. Although Bjorn did accept the vampire Sasha's flirtations and her offer to brush his long, impressive beard hair, which was pretty. It made for some interesting role play. Later in the evening, they entered a grand dining hall that was lit by 3 chandeliers and filled with somber melodies of an organ. And as the music ended, Strahd joined them, welcoming them each by name. And over the next couple hours, they feasted on fine food and wine, Strahd complimenting them on their successes in the valley, backhanded compliments, to be honest. He was thanking them for ridding the valley of Argynvost and his revenants, for eradicating the werewolves, for handing over the bones of St. Andrel. He expressed some sympathy for the loss of Marzen and Stanley in the ruins of Berez, and he spoke at length about his family and their history in Barovia. As the evening came to a close, Strahd turned to business, which is why the group had been invited to Castle Ravenloft in the first place. He proposed a deal be struck, and he mentioned that he would be happy to release them from Barovia, from the mists, and send them back to their realm. In return, he asked that the party track down an acquaintance of theirs, the one called Esmeralda, who was herself a protege of Rudolf von Richten. And Strahd had recently learned that she had taken Strahd's beloved Tatiana as a captive and had hidden her away from his watchful eye. So he asked the party to free Tatiana by any means necessary. Should they deliver Tatiana to him, he would set them free from his domain of dread. And as we pick up with the group here, we are back in the carriage, heading at a extremely rapid pace towards the destination that you chose, which was the Vistani encampment. back towards the town of Valakai, just south of Valakai. And actually, Mara, you are the only one of this particular group who has been to the Vistani camp. Neither Corben nor Bjorn have ventured to or know much about the Vistani in general. So as these steeds are galloping and pulling the carriage towards Valakai, you have a bit of time to have a conversation about what your plan is next.
Okay,
Well,
guys, what do you think of that, huh?
I don't know. Do you think we can talk inside this carriage?
Yeah, I was wondering the same thing. I'm skeptical of that. I think sort of just preparing ourselves to debark and set up camp, I think is important right now. And then we can have a conversation when we're free of the confines of this breakneck speed carriage. Is it still raining out?
It is. So as you make your way down from the pillar atop which this Castle Ravenloft sits, you make your way down through these foothills and these narrow canyon roads, the rain's still falling. You finally make your way down to sort of the valley floor and the forest before you, enveloping the road as you race towards Valakai. The rain starts to dwindle and fade until it's not falling anymore, although there are puddles in the streets and in the road is muddy. And you find yourself racing through the village of Valakai again. And as it was before, it is nearly desolate, nearly abandoned, or so it would appear. There are very few people that you see as the carriage races through this village. There is still the smolder of burning buildings, and you see a pack of wolves that runs alongside the carriage, keeping pace with the carriage for a couple moments before tearing off down an alley and off to some prey that it's hunting, this pack. So it doesn't look good in Valakai still.
Right. Watch outside your side of the carriage, would you? And take note of what you're seeing as we're coming through here.
Go ahead and roll a perception check if you'd like.
All right.
And let me know what you roll.
Seven.
20.
Got a 11.
Okay. Mara, you are the only one who notices as you're racing through the western edge of Valakai that there is a tall, lean individual standing and watching as the carriage goes by, and you can see that the skin tone of this individual is very pale, well dressed, although there is blood all over this individual's mouth and on its clothing down the front of its shirt. It is a man. It appears to be anyhow, and just staring and watching as the carriage goes by. You don't recognize the individual, but you definitely get the vampire vibe as you race through this location.
Oh, okay. Did you guys see that?
Yeah. Well, once you pointed it out. Not with my roll.
Eventually, you guys make it past Valakai, and the horses start to slow on the side of the road. The carriage stops, and the door swings open, and the horses are kind of stomping.
Yeah, I'm gonna jump out.
Yeah, I'll hop,
me too.
hop out too.
We're out. We're out.
As you get out, all three of you land on the soft, mushy, soaked ground, and the door slams shut, and then the horses take off, and it looks as though they're heading back towards Ravenloft. And you look around, and you are on the edge of the forest, the Svalich Woods. Not really like a noticeable, familiar location, but there is a path to the south that leads into the woods. And Mara, you get the general sense that this is the path to the Vistani encampment.
And we're outside Valakai now, right? Like on the outskirts.
You are. Yep, you're
Okay.
outside Valakai. A little bit farther than just outskirts. It's in the distance now.
Okay.
So guys, I told him to bring us here because I thought we could hike down to the Vistani camp and just see if there was if we could take a little refuge there and see what we could see. But we have to be really careful because there's a lot of direwolf here, a lot of werewolf here, and apparently vampire spawn too. Lucky us. So and it's getting late, so I don't know if we happen to find some kind of shelter on the way, might want to try to make camp and see what we can do to rest.
Okay. Yeah, Dave, I'm sorry, did you say how late it was getting?
It is probably midday at this point.
Okay.
Maybe like late
Midday?
morning. Yeah, late morning, I would say.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, because you left. Actually, no, that wouldn't be right. Because you left Ravenloft after dinner, so it's probably very, very late in the morning or late in the night or early morning. Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, and Dave, that music's really, really loud.
Yeah, you can turn it down if you go back to the Discord and right click on DMD SFX. That's what that is. You have control over the volume for yourself. I should have probably mentioned that when we were getting set up.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thanks.
How far away is this camp?
Oh, I can't remember how long it took us to walk there before. A day? 2
From
days?
the road?
Yeah, from this road.
We
We were hightailing it pretty good out of Valakai at the time because everything was burning and hell was going to handbasket. So I honestly can't remember how long it took us to get to the Vistani camp, but yeah, I want to say a day, maybe 2 days.
Yeah, I think it was. I mean, you would probably know that it's less than a day. It's not a full day.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
All right.
Yep.
It just didn't seem like a long ways, guys. But I think this is where we need to go because his Strahd's assistant, that Rahadin, he's a dusk elf, and he did some pretty evil things to dusk elves that live around this Vistani camp, and I don't know, I just feel like we need to talk to them, and I think we might be able to find some refuge there for a moment where we take a breath and plan our next steps. So it was the best place I could think of to go, and I didn't want the horses to bring us directly there.
Yeah, no, we don't want that. But we need to decide if we're comfortable walking through the night. You know, by the time we get there, we will have gone like a whole day without rest. So it's like we have to decide if we want to push it or camp somewhere.
Yeah, I think we should walk and see if we find a reasonable place to camp out.
I think so too. I think, maybe some wolves might have followed the carriage further. So
Yeah, I think we should get off this road is the thing.
Okay.
Fantastic. So the three of you peel off down the trail into the woods and make your way south towards the Vistani camp. Go ahead and let's everybody roll a perception check now that you're walking through the woods. Let me ask you this: Are you trying to sneak through the woods? Or are you just moving? Are you moving at a normal pace? Or are you moving at a fast pace?
I think we're just trying to move and get through as quickly as possible.
So you're moving fast.
Yeah.
not really stealthy, just walking on the path.
Okay, so everybody roll with disadvantage on perception. If you already rolled once, just go ahead and roll again and tell me what the lower of the two is.
So mine would be 11.
Okay.
I got it. 10 for Bjorn.
Okay.
5.
All right. Mara, roll a d20 for me. Okay. Okay, so you're hurrying through the woods. The path grows pretty narrow. It is not a super well-worn path, and so your hair gets caught up, your face gets smashed by branches occasionally, or slapped by a branch, and you might knock your head, Mara, on a overhanging branch that everybody else kind of ducked underneath. But eventually, you start to smell, after a couple of hours working your way down this trail. You start to smell the odor, the scent of smoke, wood smoke, and the forest sort of opens up, and you see before you this hill, a sort of cone-shaped hill, a large clearing, a bunch of low houses that you remember sitting into the side of the hill, like hovel type buildings. If you recall, you and Marzin and Stanley had stayed in one of those previously. At the top of the hill, sort of above this dense fog layer, you can see a flickering glow coming from inside of a large tent. There's a column of smoke billowing out from a hole in the tent covering, and even from the distance, you can smell the odors of food. You can hear voices emanating from this central area.
Wow. We must have been hauling butt, you guys. This is the Vistani camp. This is the Vistani camp. So the Dusk Elves live in these little hovels, or they did anyway. They were empty the last time we were here, around the edges, and up on the top there's, in that tent, that's where the Vistani stay. So we'll just have to make sure we make ourselves known so that they were friendly. They were friendly in the past, if that's who's still here. Hopefully it's still them and not somebody else. Or something else.
Dave, is this ring around these rings, are those fences, like walls?
Okay, so yeah, to give you a little bit of orientation, let me zoom out a little bit here. Okay, so there's the road coming in from the north, kind of in a spiraling sort of orientation. There are these homes that are around the edges. These are sort of cut into the side of the hill with doors that open outward. You can kind of see the pathways up to the front doors. These little arrows are designed to indicate a hill. So they're not fences or palisades or anything. It's just sort of like topography notation.
Gotcha.
So as you're climbing up this pathway here, you're climbing up a hill. And at the top of the hill, there are a bunch of wagons. That's what these wagons are here. There are groups of horses that are standing around this tent in the center. Does that help?
Yes.
Okay, sweet. All right, what are you guys doing?
Maybe I should go first because they know me. And maybe one of you guys can hold back just in case it's not Vistani. Looks like it is, but you never know. But I need somebody to have my back just in case it's not.
Yeah, I'll stay back then.
Okay.
Just signal me if we're good to go.
Okay. All right. So I'll approach, and as I get near the top of the hill there, I'll be, hey ho, camp. Hello, the camp.
You don't hear any immediate response, but you do, out of the corner of your eye, see movement in the darkness. You just quickly catch a glimpse of some movement. You turn to the left to look, and you don't see anything. And as you turn back around and look to the right, there is an elf about 20 feet from you with a bow drawn. Who are you and where have you come from?
I'm friend, not foe. My name is Mara Brightwood. I've been here before and spoken to a couple of times before. I've spoken with Madam Eva, and we've had quite an adventure, and I thought that we should come and speak to you. Friend, not foe.
Where
Come
have you
in
come
peace.
from? Valakai?
Well, we've come from the direction of Valakai. I hesitate to tell you where we come from because I don't want you to get the wrong idea. We've most recently come from Castle Ravenloft, and that's why we're here. I feel like I need to talk to somebody here about our visit there.
You see as the bowstring tightens, as you mentioned Ravenloft.
Please, sir. We were summoned. We were summoned there. This was not something that we desired.
Another elf, or another individual, I should say. It's not readily apparent that they're elves, but another individual walks out, and he says, you see him walking down the hill from the tent. He says, Mara, is that you?
Oh my gosh!
Hey!
Yeah,
And he comes down the hill, and you right away you recognize him. This is Boris, and he comes bounding down the hill, and the elf who has the arrow drawn at you, and the other elves that you don't see that have arrows drawn on you, they all sort of lower their bows and release the tension on the bowstring, and he comes up to you and says, "Oh, welcome back. Where have you been?"
Oh, Boris, it's a long, long story.
Yes, of course. Come. Wine first. Where are my manners? Come.
Please welcome my friends as well. This is Corben Brindel. And Bjorn, you can come now.
Pleasure to meet you.
Start hobbling over there.
Well met, travelers. I am Bjorn. And he reaches out and shakes your hands. You can see his face is flush red, as if he's been drinking. You can smell the scent of wine on his breath as he talks to you. And he takes your hand, Mara, and starts to lead you up the hill. He says, Many of my brethren are sleeping already. It's late, but we still have wine. We still have wine corked. Come.
Oh, how do you have wine? Or really, I shouldn't even ask. You always
Don't
have
ask.
wine.
Just drink. And you enter the tent, and it's warm and it smells of food. There are some low voices. It's not as jolly as it was last time you were here. Maybe where there's a lot of dancing and revelry. It's much later in the night now, or even early in the morning, and so there's just very few people that are up at this hour. But he's up, and he sits down and gestures for you to sit, and he says, why, what brings you back here? And where are your other friends?
Have
they been lost to the mists?
Well, you could say that. Yes, it was
so sorry.
It was it was heartrending. Both Stan and Marzen are gone. There have been a lot of things that have happened to us, and but most recently, as in tonight, we were summoned to Castle Ravenloft, and when Strahd let us go and sent us away, he asked where to take. I couldn't think of any place to come other than here, but I didn't come here directly. I had them leave us at the Svalich Road. We walked from there. But I thought I should see if there was somebody here and see if we could possibly take refuge for an evening and talk to you about the happenings there at Ravenloft.
Yes, of course. I am curious to hear about how this all went and everything, but I also realize the hour, and perhaps this conversation might be best had in the morning when we have clear minds and and we can have a more in-depth conversation. I have a feeling that Casimir may wish to also talk with you.
Yes. Yes, exactly. That's why he's exactly why I thought that this is where we should be.
Very well, very well. Well, for now, make yourselves comfortable. There is food if you need. This bottle of wine still has a bit in it. I will leave this with you. You can sleep here. And he kind of gestures towards the side of the tent where there's open space. You are welcome here with us tonight, and you will be safe.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I must retire my wife with wonder, so I must go, but I will see you in the morning, huh?
All right. Thank you, sir.
It's so good to see you, Mara. I'm glad you're back.
It's good to be back. Thank you.
Very well. And he walks off, kind of stumbling. He trips over something and like almost falls, but catches himself. And you see him sort of walk into a different corner of the tent and lay down, leaving the three of you to sort of prepare for a night's rest.
So we're safe here, Mara?
Yeah, we should be safe, but it's always a good idea to have somebody keep watch. So, do we want to take turns here? I'm wide awake. I could stay awake for a bit more, and then who wants to go after me?
I could take the next watch if you like.
I'll take the last watch then.
Okay.
Okay, great. Let's see. So go ahead and whoever's taking the first watch, I think it was Corben. Go ahead and...
No, it's me.
Mara.
Oh, Mara, sorry. Go ahead and roll a perception check for me.
Oh, I'm sorry I was on disadvantage still, but neither one of them is too great. Neither roll is pretty great.
Let's see. An 8. Okay. Yeah, you don't hear a whole lot in terms of outside the tent. You can hear the horses shifting, a couple of neighs in the night / early morning. But nothing alerts you to danger. And you start, even though you're wide awake, you do start to feel the buildup of this fatigue from all this adrenaline that you had during this dinner, and then the hurried travel through the forest to get here and that sort of thing. You start to kind of let down your guard a little bit, and you start to grow tired just in time for your watch to end.
Corben.
Yeah, I'm up.
You're up.
Corben, let's get you to roll a perception check as well. Nice, 15.
15, yep.
You hear the same. The horses outside shuffling and shifting. At one point in the night, you hear a pitter patter of rain falling on the tarp, the tent's rooftop. It doesn't really materialize into much of a storm or anything, but you get a little bit of rain fall, and you also don't get the sense of any sort of danger. You have a very keen sense of being somewhere safe. And that,
all right.
Your rest, or your watch, excuse me, ends without any incident.
Okay. I'll wake up Bjorn. Bjorn, wake up. Give him a shake.
All right. Oh, wait. Whoa.
Your turn, man.
Just you.
It's your watch.
All right.
Bjorn, go ahead and roll a perception check for me.
Got a 9.
Nice. Your shift is a little different because as you're getting up, so are many of the other members of this particular camp, and so people are moving about the tent. People are fixing food. The sun, what little sun Barovia gets, has started to rise and cast a dim glow outside the tent. The fires are being stoked and food is being prepared and that sort of thing. So you don't really get the sense that your watch is really doing a whole lot in terms of detecting much that in terms of like strangeness, but you are detecting a lot of camp activity.
Could I peer out and just kind of gather breakfast and try to get some plates for Corben and Mara?
Yeah,
Just like gather food around.
you step outside the tent.
Yeah, just feeling that it's a safer place than what we thought. So,
all right. So you walk outside the tent and kind of look around. You can see people moving about. You see a nod from one of the Vistani men who walks past you. Seems to be busy getting the horses fed and that sort of thing. And you walk over past the wagons to relieve yourself. And as you're sort of buttoning back up, you look out into the ring of fog in the distance. And for a brief moment, you could swear to God you see Sasha at the edge of the fog, just standing, kind of looking in your direction. This is the woman that was brushing your beard back at Castle Ravenloft. And then the mists and the fog kind of shifts a little bit in the wind, and you look back and there's nothing there.
I'll kind of scratch my chin with my hand and like kind of play with my beard for a second and just kind of shake it off, like just probably a figure of my mind, and make my way to try to find some food together for them.
Sure. Roll a wisdom saving throw for me.
Ooh, natural 20.
Nat 20.
Nice. That's what you wanted.
All right.
Okay, yeah, you head back in, and you are able to fix a plate for your friends. And as they start to wake up, you all feel relatively rested. You do benefit from a long rest, so if you have any hit points or anything, I don't think you guys took any damage or anything, but you do regain any sort of spell slots or anything like that you might have used, and you feel rested.
I did prepare a different spell, 4th level spell, Death Ward rather than Banishment.
Okay, good to know. So you wake up. Bjorn has food for you, hands you a plate as you're sort of just kind of opening your eyes and rubbing the sleep out of your eyes.
Oh, thank you, Bjorn. It's very kind.
Yeah, there's a good morning. This definitely seems like a safe place to be. I'm glad you brought us here.
I hope it was the right decision.
At this point, you see the family groups are about, making food and doing their thing. The kids are running around. There are a couple of young children. Most of the people in this group have kept to themselves to this point. They haven't really been engaging with you, not super sure who you are or anything like that. But eventually you see Boris walking in, and he's kind of holding his head. And he reaches over for a water skin and pulls one down off of a hook and takes a huge long drink of it, and it sort of spills over his beard a little bit, and he wipes it. So you are actually here. I was curious if I had imagined your arrival. It's good to see you.
Boris.
Tell me, you have enough to eat? You slept well? Yes?
Oh, yes. Thank you so much for Sanctuary here. We truly appreciate it.
Anything we can do to help you.
It's a good thing to know that we have friends in Barovia.
Yes, friends are difficult to come by here, but you always are welcome. Now, after you eat, you may go seek out Casimir in his hovel. You know where to go?
Yes, yes, I do.
Very well. Let me know if you need anything in the meantime. Make yourselves comfortable. Our home is your home.
Thank you, Boris.
And he heads over, and you can hear him talking with a couple of the other men, and they go out and they're taking care of chores and work around the morning chores around the camp. You finish your meal, having, eaten some mutton, a little bit of meat, a little bit of almost like a stew, and it tastes good. You feel fed, feel happy.
Tastes good to have something other than questionable dinners and direwolf, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I don't mind direwolf too much.
Well, I don't either, except that's all we've been eating. So having something different sure tastes good. Well, we should probably go see Casimir.
So who is this guy again?
He's also a dusk elf, and I'll let him explain. I think it's his story to tell, but I think it's important that we talk to him. So he's very quiet elf, dusk elf, and so give him some space and respect. We'll go down to his house.
Okay.
His little house.
Yep.
And I remembered that we had stayed there and we had been inside of there, and I can't remember if I left him a note or not about left a note behind
I think
thanking
you did.
him for
Yep.
for his hospitality. So like, I
Yep.
just want to make sure that I was remembering that correctly. So
Yep. Yeah, you did.
all right.
Yes. So you make your way down the hillside to the south and to his little cabin. And as you approach, you see him standing in front of the cabin, almost as if he was waiting for you to arrive. And he looks at you, and you roll an insight check for me, Mara. What'd you get?
23.
Oh, very nice. You get a sense of a slight grin or a softening of his face as you walk up, but not very obvious to anyone else. But he says, "I had heard that you returned to camp. Welcome, Mara."
Casimir, friend, it's so good to see you.
Yes. Tell me, what news do you have from your travels?
Well, there have been a lot of things that have happened, and I will happily answer any questions you have. But most importantly was what happened to us last night, and why I felt we needed to come here specifically to see you. Yes, we were summoned by Strahd, or in his terms, invited to dinner. But you know how that goes.
To the castle.
Yes, and
how were you received there by Strahd?
As you would expect, with a lot of show, with a lot of disdain and arrogance, with some trickery that I'm sure that I don't yet even know about. I did my best to try and protect myself and my friends. We didn't accept any gifts. We were very careful with what we consumed. But this was not an invitation we felt we could say no to.
You were smart to accept the invitation. It could prove valuable to your plans. And he kind of looks at the other two, Corben and Bjorn, not really knowing who you are, and so you get the sense Mara, he's sort of trying to not say too much.
Oh, Casimir, I am so sorry. Sadly, my friends Marzen and Stanley have been lost.
There have been many lost in this place. You have yourself suffered much loss of your friends.
Yeah. We have new friends, and they can be trusted. This is Corben Brindel. He's a knight. I'll let him explain himself. and a new friend, Bjorn Ironhide. He's fairly new, but he's fought valiantly with us. I believe he can be trusted. He brought me breakfast this morning, for Pete's sake.
A friend indeed. Tell me, Brindel, you are a knight. I see that you have the symbol of Argynvost.
That's true. I met Mara on the way to Argynvost Holt, and I knew Stanley and Marzen. They helped me liberate the skull of Argynvost
Ah, that was my
And
next question.
and return it to his home.
You have done a great thing, Sir Knight. The light of Argynvost, the beacon, shines, brings hope to the land. And he kind of turns, and at this point, you guys can see cutting through the clouds that shroud Barovia to the south, and a little bit to the east. You can see a pillar of this shining beacon visible on the horizon.
Wow,
People-
you really can see it from here. Wow.
Yes, it was noticeable. I had wondered if perhaps it was something that you and your team had done, Mara. This is a good thing. It brings hope. Tell me, what did Strahd want of you? He rarely will summon anyone to the castle unless he's wants them for a reason to eat, to consume, or to take care of his biddings.
Yes. He's asked us to
Fine.
bring as to find
Tatiana.
Tatiana and bring her and Esmeralda to Ravenloft.
Esmeralda.
I think he just
she-
wants Tatiana. I don't think he wants Esmeralda.
Yeah, I think
He didn't
but-
have
but
very
I-
nice things to say about her.
Yeah, I think the way he wants her is dead.
But apparently Esmeralda knows where she's at.
Yes, this Tatiana is the woman that he is constantly in search of, whether it is this century or the last or the next. It seems as though he is cursed to be separated from the ones that he loves. I've heard of this before. He has tasked people with finding this Tatiana. A woman that was destined to be the bride of his brother Sergi. He is fixated upon her and her many reincarnations over the years.
Did seem like he was obsessed with her.
Yes, obsessed. That is a word for it. What
Yes,
do you intend
I
to
asked,
do?
I don't know. I don't know what to do at this point. Esmeralda is not somebody that I know directly, but she is from the same place that I am from, and I don't wish any harm to come to her, and I certainly don't wish any harm on this incarnation of Tatiana. But I also know that the forest has eyes and ears, and I'm looking for some guidance, and at this point, the only place I could think of was to come here because we saw Ruharden, and it made me think of you, and yeah,
You can see his face kind of drops a little bit as you mention Ruharden's name. The traitor.
I'm so sorry, Casimir, and I just kind of touch his elbow, just lightly touch his elbow. I'm so sorry.
Yes. Ruharden's role in all of this has not been forgotten. But tell me, you come here to bring me news. What else have you come here for?
a place to breathe and figure out the best way for us to proceed.
Well, I'm
And
sure
also, and also to tell you of what we saw, because I know that you've experienced things over your many years here.
Yes, I have been here for quite some time and have seen many changes. Many of them unwelcome changes. Rahadan and I will have our day. You are, I'm sure, welcome to stay with the Vistani as long as you need. But I do know that the situation across the valley deteriorates by the day. Despite the hope that you have brought to the valley with the beacon of Argynvost, there are minions of the devil at play. It is as if he is readying himself.
Would this be?
Yes.
Are you talking about Valakai?
Valakai, I fear that Valakai is beyond redemption.
It was horrible. It was horrible.
Yes, I have heard what happened with the relic, Mara, and I am deeply sorry for the role that you were forced to play. It has resulted in a hardship for that village. I don't know if there's much that can be done for the people of Valakai. What has Strahd told you he would do if you were to fulfill his task?
He claims that he'll release us from this land.
It is what you want.
Well, is it? And can he be believed? I doubt that Strahd lets anybody out of anywhere until he's done playing with them.
I think you are right with that assertion, Mara. I do know that Strahd fancies himself as a man of honor. What that means in the end, I don't know, but I may have mentioned this to you before when your friends and you were here. I believe that much of the power that Strahd has over the land and over the beasts of Barovia has its source in the Amber Temple. I have mentioned this to you, yes?
Yes, and that was actually part of what I wanted to talk to you about. This is a place that we've avoided for a while now, because we know that it's a difficult journey and a difficult task. But maybe now is the time, and your wisdom about the Amber Temple and needs to happen there to help us in our future endeavors against Strahd. Be deeply appreciated.
Well, the Amber Temple is very, very dangerous. A source of great evil. A place where good-hearted, well-meaning men sought to contain darkness, to hold it captive, to imprison it, to remove it from the world. And it worked for some time. But the evil has found a way, as it does, to work itself into the minds of men. The wizards who built this Amber Temple, this vault, sealing away the secrets of the darkest powers, forced to guard the temple against the onslaught of wicked men who sought to harness that evil power for themselves. Eventually, in their attempt to do good, they themselves were corrupted. Now, the temple itself is a place of great danger, but I do believe that there is power in that place that could be used. I could be wrong, I could be a fool. But I have some knowledge of that place. It is a long and dangerous journey to the south, through the Barovian highlands, to a pass, Solenka Pass, a guard post, a waypoint, stronghold, guarding the road to the temple. There are many dangers along the way, not the least of which is the biting cold, the environment itself trying to grasp you in its clutches. There are worse things in the hills as well. Creatures that will devour your flesh, perhaps leaving your soul to falter in the mists. If you are able to make it to the temple, that is where the most difficult part begins. But you have done much. You have relit the beacon. You have survived dinner with the devil. Perhaps you are the ones. Perhaps you can help.
Casimir, if we're lucky enough to make it, what if the Amber Temple is containing evil and has corrupted wizards, what could possibly be there for us that could be of good?
There are powers and forces that can be used that are designed for other purposes, if you understand. I myself have dreamed of harnessing some of that power to bring back my sister, Patrina. But I have resisted that urge. There may be other secrets to Strahd's power, artifacts that could help you in your quest. You have talked to Madame Eva. She has given you a prophecy. Perhaps you have some idea yourself of what may lie ahead.
Yes. Another reason to stop here. I need to just stop and think and look back on my notes, and there's just been so much that's happened.
Yes. Well, it seems like you have much to think about. Do you head south towards the temple? Is that where your quest takes you? Or do you seek out this Esmeralda and recover the woman, the Tatiana, the quest that Strahd has assigned to you? Those are your decisions.
Yes, this is something I have to pray on as well.
Mara, I feel like if there's something in the Amber Temple that could help defeat Strahd, maybe we find that first before we bring or find Esmeralda. versus the same. So right now we have no idea where Esmeralda is. So if we wander to the Amber Temple, Strahd can't get mad at us for that. But if we find her, then go to the Amber Temple afterwards, if he finds out that we're with her and not going directly to him, that's a bigger problem in itself.
Yeah, I mean, I got the impression. I mean, he brought it up when we were there. He has spies.
Yes.
We don't know where his spies could be. He could have had people in. Well, he did say that he has people in Valakai. Minions. So
they could even be here, and I turn and I wink at Casimir just because I feel like I need to bring some levity to the moment.
For all we know, we could be watched. Yeah, we could be being watched now.
It is true.
I feel
I'm
like
sure he knows. I feel like he knows where we are, no matter where we go. But yeah, I need to think on this, and I know you two need to think on this. And but I wanted Casimir. I needed your wisdom, and I needed you to know what had happened, last night, and what had happened since we left here.
He stops for a minute, and he says, "I thank you for that." He says, he looks around. You kind of see his eyes glow for a moment, kind of like flash this kind of bright white light, and then that sort of diminishes back to his normal eye color. He says, "Oftentimes, if Strahd is near, watching, you can detect him if you look in the right place, listen for the right things. It is true that he has eyes across the valley. Be careful. I've said this before, but be careful who you trust. If you should need my assistance, please let me know. But I will leave you and your friends to decide where your path lies."
Casimir, if we decide to go to the Ember Temple, would you accompany us?
He thinks for a minute. I have often dreamt of that place. I have seen it with my eyes. I have made the journey. I will help you. When you are ready,
Thank you, Will.
you let me know.
Thank you, Casimir. I think we need to do some talking.
He turns and walks into his hovel and closes the door.
Mara,
Yeah.
I feel like I feel like that going to the temple would be the best choice for us. As I said before, I feel like if we find Esmeralda and we're traveling with her, Strahd would expect us to do nothing but go straight to him. And if we have her and travel to the temple, I feel like he'll send his minions after us at that point. Whereas if we travel unaccompanied without Esmeralda with us to the temple, he could assume that we are still looking for her.
Bjorn, I'm in agreement with you, but what has been rolling through my mind is a third option, which was not do either and try to find a different way out of these mists. And this is what I am wrestling with inside of me, and why I needed to talk to Casimir a little bit All we've heard this entire time is how dangerous the Amber Temple is, and I don't know if I am prepared for that. I don't know if I'm prepared to. I am certainly not going to hand over Esmeralda to Strahd. That is not in my to-do list. But I was thinking about something completely, choice number 3, and that may mean that I need to leave both of you. I don't know. And that's why I wanted to talk to Casimir, and why I wanted to sit with this. And I need to maybe sit with this in my and with the Morning Lord and give it some thought.
Just putting it out there. Don't you also have this tome of his, of Strahd's?
I do.
Perhaps we could study that.
Yeah, and that was actually something that I had my wits, or even any if I had been not so fatigued last night, I would have looked at it last night. But it seems to have an effect on me for a time after I examine it. So if I am to sit down and look at that tome, we would need to stay here for a day or two, so that I could be 100% to before we leave. So, guys, I need to sit with the Morning Lord and have a conversation with him.
That is fine. Before we leave you with your thoughts, I just want to point out one thing. He said that this Amber Temple has a lot of secrets in it. What if that third option of leaving this place or escaping the mist? What if this place has that secret to escaping too? We haven't heard of anything else up to this point, just to steer away. Well, maybe could be a warning.
Well, Casimir said that it is a place that was used to bind evil. Maybe there's something that we can use to bind Strahd.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. What if this whole place is what is being bound by the Amber Temple? What if what if just being there, we find a way to escape this place?
Right.
But I'll trouble you no more, Mara. I'll let you be with your thoughts.
I'll take what you said into my meditation. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay, so what would you like to do, Mara?
I'm just going to kind of go off to a quiet place and just sit for a while. I know we're not leaving here today regardless, so I'm going to, because we need to rest, we need to take inventory, repair the things that we have with us, and so but I need to sit and contemplate a bit, because a lot has happened to her. She's lost her very, very good friend, and there's just a lot going on in her head. She needs to just sit without any noise and battles or anything, just to sit with commune with her Morning Lord for a bit. She's an acolyte, and she needs to have her time to do that, because she hasn't done that for a while.
Okay. Is there something like mechanically with your character sheet that you wanted to do to attempt to do any of that, or do you just want to kind of off screen do that?
Just off screen do that.
Okay. Got it.
Just because there's a lot going on, and these two may want to have conversations with Vistani, and I'm
Sure.
just going to take a moment and take a breath.
Okay.
Before we sit down and make a plan.
All right, that sounds good. So Corben and Bjorn, you watch as Mara nods and walks off on the side of the hill, probably somewhere to sit and look out over the forest and think and pray. What are the two of you interested in doing at this point?
I guess I don't have too much to do.
Okay.
I'm not gonna change up my spells at this moment, I don't think.
Okay.
So,
How
I guess
about
I'll just.
yeah,
Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead. I didn't mean to cut you off.
I don't know. I was just gonna maybe just relax a little bit.
Sure. Yeah.
Not worry about
Just
something
rest.
constantly trying to kill me.
Absolutely. Okay. That sounds good. How about you, Bjorn? Is there anything that you want to do while sort of on this day of relaxation and introspection?
Yeah, I want to see if I could find a few bottles of wine, and or just one, even if I could get lucky. Then I would like to go back to the spot where I relieved myself and kind of, was it Sanya or Shasha? I keep forgetting.
Sasha?
Shasha. I would just kind of like to have my own time and just kind of sit out there and just watch to see if I see her again or if it was something that was just playing with my mind. So just just relaxing by myself and just watching out there to see if I could see another glimpse of her or what's going on.
Okay. Yeah. So let's see. You walk back to the tents, and people are busying themselves, taking care of the animals and cleaning up the space. And it looks like there's a group of men and one woman that are heading out with bows as if they're going to go hunt. They're going to go out on a hunt, and they have some packs, and it looks like they're going to go for more than just an afternoon. They're heading out for a bit, and they walk past you and just kind of nod and head out down the trail. And you walk into the tent, and you can see that there are some wine skins and water skins and sort of a pantry supply area. So if you want to go poke around, why don't you roll an investigation check?
All right. Trying to find it here. Investigation. 13.
Okay. Yeah, you're looking, you're holding them up. You pull the cork out of out of these wine skins, water skins, to kind of sniff, to try to find some wine. You eventually do find one that's pretty close to empty. It seems like there might be, 2 or 3 decent gulps left in that particular wineskin. There, you don't find any other wineskins. It's just
Could
that
I
one.
ask around and see if anyone's selling wine or if there's a shop or anything with some supplies to replenish?
Yeah, absolutely. You kind of accost one of the men who's walking past, and he's, yes, what can I help you with? You're looking for something.
Yes, I'm looking to purchase some supplies before we head off again. Is there a trader in this caravan of yours?
I'm afraid not, my friend. We ourselves are subsisting at this point with Valakai fallen and the supply chain severed. We've been having a hard time getting our own supplies other than from the hunt. Our wine supplies are nearly gone. As you may not know, there's the winery on the western edge of the valley was burned in a terrible, terrible fire, and there has not been any new production of wine for quite some time. It's terrible, terrible.
Do you know any place, or perhaps maybe you have some extra wine that you're willing to partner with, and I'll kind of pat my coin purse?
Oh, friend, I would love to sell you some wine, but I would get in so much trouble with the people here. We have a communal situation where we share everything. So I would like to share wine with you if I had some of my own to share, but it is very difficult at this point. Don't know what to tell you, friend.
Oh, that is fine. I'll just have to make do with what I could find then. Are these community skins? And I point to the half empty one that had a little in it.
Yes. If we were in better days and the winery was producing again, I would love to go there just to see if we can find some wine, but there's much to do here, and we must protect the people. But yes, if you are hungry or thirsty, you can help yourself here to supplies. Just respect our hospitality, right?
Yes, sir. And well, thank you kindly, and I'll have some of this, and I'll go relax.
Okay. So you go back out to you take the wineskin with you?
Yep.
Okay. So you head back out to the spot where you had been standing earlier in the morning, and you take a seat, and
Yep.
And you're kind of watching and.
Yep, just kind of like post and watch, just kind of seeing and just getting some time by myself.
Okay. Roll a wisdom saving throw.
15.
Nice. You sit there for 20 minutes, half an hour, 40 minutes. You take two, 3 sips of the wine and it's empty, and you squeeze as much of the wine out of it as you can. And you sit for a while looking out over the fog shrouded forest off to the east. And you hear almost a whisper. And you kind of look around, but you don't see anybody in the immediate vicinity, but you hear your name being whispered.
Could I try to investigate and see where it's coming from?
You could, roll a perception check.
Eight.
You don't see anything. There's nobody near you. It's like you just look around. You look back out where you thought you saw the image of Sasha before. Nothing. And then as you're turning away, you look back and you can see that there is this black wolf that's just sort of stalking at the edge of the forest, looking in your direction. And it kind of walks back about 20 or 30 feet, and then it turns and walks the other way 20 or 30 feet, and then it stops. And then you hear, and it just flashes and dives into the forest and disappears.
Thinking about pulling a stand and just getting a little closer to see if I could see anything. So I'm not going to go into the forest, but
what's the worst that could happen?
Yep. I'm just going to walk a little bit closer to the outskirts, but just not into it, and just to see if a wolf was actually there or if my mind's going. So I just want to see where it came out.
Yeah, you can walk. You can walk over to the edge of the forest where you saw the wolf, for sure. What are you looking for specifically?
Tracks for anything to show if it was just like if it was real or if it was just something in my head.
Go ahead and roll a survival check.
Nice. 15.
Okay, yeah. So you it takes you a little bit of time. You search around. The ground is wet and muddy. It's pretty waterlogged along the tree line, and you do see a very fresh set of wolf tracks, but no sign of the wolf. The tracks lead into the forest.
I'll just head back to my spot and just kind of sit there again.
Okay.
And just wait until the others catch up with me.
Okay, that sounds good. Let's do this. Let's take a 15-minute break, and then we will come back and continue on. So if there's anything that, think about this in the break if you want, but if there's anything that your characters want to do in this sort of little bit of a downtime for the day, just let me know when we get back. All right, we'll see you in 15. over. All right, we're back, and we've got a sort of a day of rest and introspection, some prayers, some wine drinking, and some wolf investigations. Mara, let's go to you. You have taken some time to sit and ponder your situation. What are you doing with your time?
Well, I had just, sat and I prayed to Lathander for inspiration and wisdom and guidance, and because for a short time I was thinking about just going off by myself and trying to find a way out of there, and even in my mind I was thinking that I might try to broker a deal with one of the Vistani, since they could come and go from the mists and figure out a way to go home, because I'm so heartsick about Marzen. So but then I realized that that's sort of cowardly, and that there's work yet here to be done, and I didn't want to leave Esmeralda. So these are all the things that she was going through in her head, and why she needed to just not be sitting there listening to two guys talking at her. She needed to just like sit and think about this, because for a moment there, she was thinking about just slipping away. Slipping away.
Okay.
So so now that she's kind of gained some ground under her feet, she's going to gather her friends and say, come have some lunch with me.
All right.
Yeah, we'll go with Mara and see what she has to say.
So guys, I've been giving some thought to this. I really truly didn't know what the best course of action was, and I've realized that leaving here at this time would not be wise for. It wouldn't be the right thing to do for Esmeralda, for Tatiana, whoever she is right now, for this land, for these people, and for you, for my friends who've been here, Corben especially. You've been here for a long time with me, and it just wouldn't be right for me to leave. And I appreciate that you gave me the time to think about this. I have this tome of Strahd that I think I should spend some time with and look at before we leave. But I do believe that we should go to the Amber Temple and take our chances and see what we can do, and maybe free this land once and for all from this devil.
Right. Yeah.
And this tome has effects on me. This means that we might need to stay here for a couple days. I know I still have a little bit of wolf meat I could put into the communal kitchen so that we don't overstay our welcome without contributing. But I think staying here for a couple days so that we leave refreshed and as full of knowledge as we possibly can, and sit down and talk about all of the things that maybe we need to know before we leave, and then make our best effort at the Amber Temple.
I agree. I think that, especially since you heard about something there already from Madam Eva, right?
Yes.
I think it's, that along, and she also mentioned Argynvost as being one of the places too, right?
Yes, and that's, we've checked that off the list thanks to you,
Right.
and all of our efforts. So it's really kind of the next place to go.
Yeah, I agree. I think we should get this third item that you guys were told about. It seems like it would only help us. Item, I don't know, whatever. Maybe we just need to go there and see something. We'll see.
It just says, I just remember her saying that there's a great treasure behind amber doors. So, power in a holy symbol. So we'll see what we can find.
Right. Okay. I agree. I think we should go. Yeah, once we take a minute to try to study this tome.
You know
Bjorn?
me. You know me. I'm just looking for a legendary monster. So if this place is just as dangerous as they make it out to be, that's just the place I need to go.
All right, then. We have a plan. So, is Boris around still?
Yeah, you can find Boris pretty easily. He's working in the with the animals.
Boris, my friend, can I have a word?
Yes, of course, Mara. How can I help?
Oh, Boris, first of all, thank you so much for your hospitality and kindness as always.
Of course.
You have no idea what this respite has done for our hearts and our heads. Thank you, my friend.
You're very welcome.
We don't want to overstay our welcome, but we do need to stay for a couple of days, if that is okay. I've got some wolf meat that I can share, some rations that I can share, and if that would be okay with you and your people.
This is good. This is very good. Yes, please, you stay. It's not the question.
Thank you, Boris. Is there anything we can do to help?
Well, keep an eye out. I mean, it's dangerous times. There are many creatures in the forest. So if you could maybe help with the watch to keep an eye on things would be helpful. Maybe keep your dwarf friend away from whatever's left of the wineskins would be good. But I would say, help us keep an eye on things. That is probably the most important. Get your rest. What do you plan to do next?
Well, we have some thoughtful planning to do, and then we and Casimir are going to journey south for a bit.
Enough said. Yes, gather your strength. You will need it. Let us know what we can do.
Thank you, friend. And if you can put us into watch rotation and just let us know when that is, we will happily help you.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'd be happy to help out with that.
Thank you. Very well.
Okay, so I'm going to sit down with the tome.
Okay. All right, so you're going to spend some time with the tome. It basically takes up your day to do this.
Yeah.
So go ahead. When you're ready, you can roll a intelligence check to see if you can essentially decipher some of the faded and cryptic entries of this tome.
Corben, are you able to boost her at all? Like bless or anything? And Mara, aren't you able to bless yourself too? To give is there anything you could do to help with your intelligence checks?
You could give yourself guidance. I believe would help if you have guidance.
I can only assist with attack and saving throws. That's just for attacks.
Mara, if you have guidance, you could ask Lathanter to help you out. I don't know.
I do not have guidance prepared.
Let's see.
I do not have guidance prepared.
I think guidance is a cantrip, so you would either have it or not have it. And it doesn't look like you do not have it.
No. Mm-mm.
I don't have anything that would help with an intelligence check. Just saving throws and like attack rolls and stuff like that.
Yeah, I have one thing that could help me with a wisdom cantrip, but only in battle.
All right, sorry. I just thought maybe it was an idea.
That's a good thought for sure.
Totally a good thought, but
yep.
Unfortunately, no dice for me.
Speaking of dice, what did you end up rolling?
15.
Okay. Let me grab one of these. All right. I'm going to drop it in the chat here in Roll20. This is what you're able to, after the course of basically a full 8-hour period of studying and trying to piece together his strange scrawling script, you uncover a piece of information. You also take 1 point of exhaustion, which means that you have a disadvantage on your ability checks until you take a long rest.
Okay. Oh. Corben, I so am missing Marzen right now. This would be a child's play to him, but really all I've been able to decipher at this point after all this time is that the dark powers have cursed me. Each time I am within reach of Tatiana, she is met with tragedy. I must keep her safe this time, no matter what it takes. Perhaps I may yet unravel the black threads of fate. The dark powers have cursed me. Who are the dark powers? What are the dark powers? I thought he was the dark power. This is confusing.
It would explain why he's, so obsessed with her. Every time he comes close, she disappears again, apparently.
Yeah, and I in these conversations with him, I keep wondering, what his perception and what reality is, right? She didn't want to be with him to begin with. What would make him think that she would want to be with him now in whatever incarnation, especially if that incarnation has no idea that she's an incarnation of Tatiana, or if she actually in fact is an incarnation or just happens to be unfortunate enough to look like her.
Right. Real stalker vibe. This guy.
Yeah, right.
He's he's obsessed.
So that's if you have any ideas, I'm open to hearing them, but that's everything that I can come up with at this time. I don't know how much more time you want to spend here.
Well, one thing that it does teach us is that if we find her, if he's scared of getting too close to her because of this tragedy that she is met with all the time, if we were to find her, maybe that doesn't mean that he'll just like show up like that instant, but
maybe we threaten to kill her if he doesn't let us go.
Well, let's put that in our pocket as a potential.
No matter what it takes.
Because if it takes him this long to find every time,
the alternative is he might try to swoop in as soon as possible and surround her somehow to try to keep her safe. I don't know.
It would almost help if we found her, then hid her, and kept her location as leverage to releasing us.
Real quick, Mara, roll a wisdom saving throw for me.
Ten.
Okay. Thank you.
That's something with the book or something different? It's okay.
You don't know.
I don't know.
Perhaps you should should stay here another day and just see if
Yeah, I
there's
think-
anything else.
I-
It seems we're in a safe location, so if you're feeling tired after doing this, I mean, maybe a few more passages.
Well, it stacks, right?
Correct.
Yeah, so if she was to do another one night's rest wouldn't get rid of all of the exhaustion.
Yeah, at this
So,
point,
what about-
she would need to essentially spend the night studying this thing. She would take a second point of exhaustion for the study, but probably a third for not sleeping for, maybe not a third, definitely a second. I might have her roll a Constitution saving throw to see if she would take a third. But
what even happens at three
Well,
levels?
funny that you ask. I have it right here.
Because I've never even seen that happen before.
So all of these effects are cumulative. So they're all like level 1, disadvantage on ability checks. When you get to level 2, you have that, plus your speed is halved. When you get to level 3, you have both of those, plus disadvantage on attack rolls and saving throws. Level 4, you add hit point maximum is halved. That's pretty bad.
Yeah.
Number 5, your speed is reduced to 0. That's really bad. And number 6, dead.
Yeah.
So
I'm just thinking
I'd like to avoid
you're half
that.
you're half dead
Well,
studying this thing for the rest of the night.
So here's the thing from her standpoint, from her viewpoint, she knows it takes a day to feel like herself again. So, after she feels like herself, then reading it again and then taking another day to feel like herself again. This would be like now 4 days we're there in order to get 2 passages, right? And come out the other side with no levels of exhaustion. So I'm just looking at it from her point of view. She wouldn't necessarily know all of these intricacies. She would just know how she's feeling. So guys, it really takes me a whole day to even, I don't want to open this book again until tomorrow because it just takes that much out of me.
Yeah.
So if you want to stay for another 3 days,
yeah,
I could probably study it a little bit more and then take a rest and then study it and take a little more and take another rest. But I cannot open this book right now because I can feel it in my bones. I cannot look at this book anymore. It's not good for me.
Right. Okay.
My opinion
I
is
understand.
we're in a safe spot, and if you're gonna ever read this tome, would you rather read it here than on the road?
I agree.
So
Yeah,
taking
I
advantage
will.
of
Yeah,
we have
if we
time,
want to
so
do
let's.
that.
I agree. I just want to know, first of all, we are guests here, so we have to be aware of that and be mindful of that and how long can we stay here without wearing out our welcome, because we may need this place to rest again when we're back from the Amber Temple.
Yep. Perhaps Corben and I could go help him with the hunting party or something, but my opinion on it is we stay for as long as you feel comfortable with, and we try to find out as much as we can, because I don't ever see a better opportunity than what we have right now.
It is true. We were like racing around everywhere else we were, but here.
I agree. But this is what I wanted. Why I wanted to sit down and talk to you about it.
Yeah.
So
how many days you want to try to go for then?
Well, I need to rest tomorrow. And then if I study another day and rest, that's 4 days. And then study a day and rest, that's 6 days. So that means we'll have been here a week. I did offer that we would help keep watch. And there's nothing that says that the camp might not be, we could be attacked here as well as anywhere. But
at least here we have allies,
Yes, I understand that. I'm just trying to be.
Let's see if they would be fine for a week, and we'll see what services that we could offer them to to do our part to not use up their supplies.
Okay, I've already
Okay,
given
that's-
them my rations, so or most of my rations, my fresh meat anyway.
So I think it would be fair to offer our services to hunt. You're going to be tired, so I would be fine with going out and see if Corben wants to come out with too, or if there's any other task or besides hunting that we could do to satisfy them and not be a nuisance to them.
Boris.
Hello. Yes. Yes. I was
Boris, I know
listening. I was listening. Yes.
Would
Like,
it
was
be
he there the whole time?
Would it be
No,
an
that was
imposition?
Dave. I was. I,
All right.
You caught me off guard. Yes. Yes. Hello.
Would it be an imposition if we stayed a week? We would be happy to help with hunting party.
If you are willing to contribute, I see no problem with this. The others have already stated that they appreciate your presence. And if we stay safe, everything is good. Of course, if things turn sour, then there may be a different story. But you are in the good graces of the people here, and I assume with, the devil himself has set you afoot. So perhaps now is a good time to rest and recuperate a bit, huh?
Thank you, Boris.
We could use a bit of help on the hunting party, perhaps, to help bring in some more meats for the family.
I would be glad to assist in that part.
Yeah,
Very good.
I would also definitely help you out there.
Fantastic.
Dave, out of character real quick.
Mhm.
I have a spell, Purify Food and Drink.
Okay.
And it says, I can purify something within non-magical food and drink within a 5-foot radius, and it'd be rendered free of poison and disease. Would that qualify as like stuff that's turned, like just anything that's gone bad?
Just don't use it on the wine.
Non-magic food and drink within a 5-foot radius sphere is purified and rendered free of poison and disease. I would say that,
Like spoiled meat, for example.
yeah, maybe.
Like I could render it free of bacteria.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like I was just gonna offer to like try to purify some of their food, I guess.
I would say that you could definitely try.
Okay.
You're not really sure
Okay.
what the effect might be, but you could definitely try.
Okay.
This is a transmutation ritual.
Yeah, first
spell.
level. First
Yeah.
level.
Yeah, you could give it a shot and see. Absolutely.
I'm just gonna go talk to Boris and ask him, do you have any supplies that are in danger of going bad or that have spoiled? I might be able to help render them, edible again.
And we have some milks that we are a bit concerned about drinking. You could what do you have in mind? You have some sort of magics that you work.
Yeah, I have a little ritual that I can, I can purify food and drink, let's say.
Well, you are welcome to try it. As I said, it has the milks have spoiled, curdled a bit. We were going to maybe use it for other things, but it would be nice to have milks.
All right. I'll give it a shot if it's all right with you.
Yeah, do it.
I just like to be useful around here,
Absolutely. Yeah. So tell me a little bit about how your ritual works, like how you do your ritual.
Well, yeah, I guess it's a ritual spell. There's no components involved, so I would just need to sit with it for a little bit and meditate and pray to Sylvanas.
Okay.
And it's instantaneous.
Okay.
So it doesn't take very long.
All right.
So I'll go sit with the milk.
All right. So you hang out with the milk.
Yeah.
And you pray over the milk and you ask Sylvanas for his guidance and his purifying energy to bring down a change to this spoiled milk.
I just can't help but think of Amish paradise with Weird Al turn into butter.
Yeah.
I was thinking about the way we used to page each other at Whole Foods Market in St. Paul and page people to the dairy area.
Dairy area.
Nice.
Please come to the dairy area.
So you do finish your
Mhm.
your ritual, and the milk is still before you. You taste it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, you take a small taste of it to see, you know, what the effects were, and it does taste. It tastes sweet. It has a sweet taste to it rather than a soured sort of curdled taste to it. And
It's
it
not
is
giving off a foul odor or anything.
there's no
like
foul odor to it, which you definitely
Not
smelled it
funky?
before, and it does. Yeah, that's just what I was about to say. It doesn't have the telltale curdled chunks floating in it. It appears as though your spell worked.
That. All right. Nice. All right, I'll just go tell Boris. I think I fixed it. I think I fixed the problem with the milk. But
Very good. He takes a
Yo.
big swig of it and looks at you. It's even better than the first. Well
I'm glad I
done.
could I'm glad I could help out.
You hear Gollum, you ruined it.
So over the course of the next day, 2 days, you are taken out on a hunting trip. Corben and Bjorn. Mara, I don't know if you go or if you stay behind to rest and do more study. That's what I was kind of getting from your
Yeah.
description. Okay.
Yeah, and also I take my turns at watch too.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So let's do this. Corben and Bjorn, why don't you go ahead and roll? Each of you roll a stealth check, a survival check, and a charisma check.
Oh,
Not good?
Clump, clump, clump.
I'm not very stealthy. Let's just put it that way.
Neither one of you are.
Charisma. You said the last one was.
Yep.
I have a +6 to stealth and I still rolled that one.
Oh, it was on an 18 and it rolled over to a 4.
Okay. So let's see. Bjorn.
We both
Wow.
rolled natural ones for our stealth.
Yeah.
So they send you out with a couple of the other Vistani men, and they seem very interested in talking with Bjorn. They're very curious about him. He seems very your rapport with them, Bjorn, is strong. Corben, you not so much. You just don't seem to connect with these guys for whatever reason. It's just a little awkward. The conversations you try to engage them in it just doesn't seem to hit right or to land.
Which really sucks for Corben because he has a 20 in charisma.
Yeah, it's very frustrating. It's very, very frustrating for you. But it's even more frustrating because you can see them really warming up to Bjorn as a result. And Bjorn is relating stories of his people and maybe some of the monsters that you've hunted, and they're
That's what I was thinking. Yep.
Yeah.
Just these stories of adventures and monsters. And
Absolutely. It turns out neither of you is highly valued as a stealthy hunter in the woods. Unfortunately, you both cause multiple game species to flush and run away outside of the capture of the net and the arrow. And so unfortunately, even though you're able to do a pretty good job of seeing animal sign and finding tracks and pointing birds out and that sort of thing, the hunt goes unsuccessfully. And you return to camp after a full day, maybe 2, depending on how much time you spent. Coming back with, building some relationships with the Vistani, and not every hunt is successful. So it's, they necessarily begrudge you of that, of the situation, but they also are not super interested in having you guys come back out for another hunt because you're kind of loud and
Have that
you're
guy
just-
go sit with the milk again.
yeah, go take care of the milk kind of thing. But you do build a bit of rapport with them anyhow. And this is over the course of, a couple days if you decide to go out more than once. But and then Mara, you spend the second full day, I guess, would be resting.
Yeah, and while I'm resting, I am going to prepare a cantrip. I am going to rather than I'm discarding thaumaturgy, and I'm going to prepare guidance.
So real quick,
In that-
a ruling on that, because there's rules on this. Cantrips you cannot change. Those are just
I
things
cannot-
that you know.
Oh, that's right.
Yep.
Yeah.
So leveled spells you can change out as a cleric. So
Shucks.
yep.
Yeah.
Now when you level
Right.
up, so next time you advance to the next level, we
Mhm.
can talk about an opportunity to switch out a cantrip if you want to.
Okay.
Yep, you'll be able to switch one
Okay.
out. Yep.
Does the spell bless? Would that help you out for anything? Would you be able to learn change that one out to bless?
I have bless. It
I
only
think-
helps with saving throws and
Attack rolls, right?
Alright.
attack rolls. Yeah.
All right, sorry, just trying to
Yeah.
help out.
So if you want to
Mhm.
attack the book, you can try that, but it won't help you with the intelligence. Now there
Yeah,
also
I do
is
not wish to attack it.
there is an action that you may or may not be aware of. It's called the help action.
Yeah.
So
One of us could sit with her. Right?
yep, an additional person can help you, and what that does is give you advantage on your roll. So
Okay.
if that were to be the case, especially with this particular item, you'd most likely you'd want it to be somebody that you trust, obviously, because this is a
Mhm.
pretty serious artifact. But also they would also take a level of exhaustion as a result.
Hey, Corben, come here.
Hey, what's up?
How did hunting go?
Not too great, to be
How
honest.
do you feel?
I think I
how do you
scared away
feel-
a deer.
How do you feel about staying here with me tomorrow and going over this tome with me at the same together?
Yeah, I'll do
I
it.
think
They're
I
not.
think two
I
heads
lost
are
my-
better than one.
Yeah, I'm not gonna be going out hunting again anytime soon. So, sure.
All right, you'll definitely have to take a watch for sure. But yeah, if you could, I think on this second day that we can tomorrow when I sit down with this tome again, both of us looking at it might be helpful.
Yeah, sure, no problem.
Okay. Hey, Bjorn.
Yep.
I'm gonna have Corben sit with this tome with me tomorrow. Is it okay if he skips hunting tomorrow?
Oh, I see how it is. Just this must be a dwarf. He can't read anything. He's unintelligent. Storm off.
Hey.
I have no problem with it. Just
I
don't hurt my feelings none.
I saw you come in with those guys laughing and not even talking to Corben. Plus, he was with me when we found the tome, so he's kind of familiar with it. If you have extra special knowledge on stuff like this, if you want to stick around tomorrow, that's totally fine with me too.
No, that's right. I don't know how to read.
Smart Alec.
It's like I'm getting kind of antsy. I'm gonna try to perhaps see if someone in this camp wants to brawl for a wager or something.
Well, just make sure you're friends at the end, okay?
Got it. I won't
All
break
right.
too many of their bones.
Nice. All right,
All
so
right.
you guys, Mara, you and Corben are gonna tag team this book.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. So this would be the, let's see, first
Day
night,
3.
second night, third night. Yep, day 3, the third full day.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Go ahead and roll a investigation check with advantage.
Is it investigation or is it
Yeah. What does it say?
intelligence?
Sorry. Yep. No, it is investigation. It's an investigation check
The advantage.
with advantage.
Okay. Because I rolled intelligence last time, just so you know.
Yeah, you're
right.
supposed to. Yeah.
So
But
okay.
the check, not the raw stat, right? It's
It's
isn't it?
it's investigation. It's a skill check.
Yeah, so you rolled intelligence last time. You should roll investigation,
Correct.
which is a little different.
Right.
So I don't know if there would have been a difference.
It wouldn't have been there's no difference for you because you're not
Okay.
proficient in investigation. So either way, it
Yeah.
would have been the same.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
Ooh, same thing.
15. Okay. Give me a second here. So you guys are speak amongst yourselves as you're studying.
All right.
While I grab some out of here.
God, this is how he writes.
Yeah, this is how he writes, and this is why it's taken me forever. You know, aside from the it's kind of faded, and aside from the archaic language, he's also got really bad handwriting. So this is hard.
Right, and it's almost like some kind of shorthand too. It's
You guys, because you work together on this, you got a little bit longer passage out of it.
Okay, well, let's see what we've come up with after bending our brains all day.
Do you want to read it out loud, Mara, for us?
Let's get Bjorn over here because I don't want him to feel like we're leaving him out here. Hey, Bjorn. Psst.
Just jump right out of your pocket. I wasn't here the whole time.
Hey, Bjorn, this is what we've come up with. And you know what? This is actually probably good because you're hearing this fresh, and maybe something will come to your mind that, you know, it isn't going to come to ours because we know more, right? So I saw my old friend again. Age had weathered his face, and there was a deep sadness in his eyes. He had secretly organized a group of druids and shapeshifters and angry young men to resist me. How dare he defy me, the rightful ruler of this land by succession? He claims to know my magic, ignorant of the vast wealth of lore I have discovered in the Amber Temple. His followers attacked me in a cowardly ambush and made frighteningly short work of my spawn and guards. He held me in place with an ancient holy symbol, and not yet fully accustomed to my new body and powers, I struggled to resist. But when he hesitated to deal a fatal blow, I became as mist and escaped. My vengeance will be swift. Even now, my werewolves and spawn and undead are assaulting the remnants of his forces. Your days are numbered, old friend. Ooh. Somebody had him in his clutches. I wonder who it was.
Do you think that could have been that priest you're talking about in this Valkai?
He held me in place with an ancient holy symbol.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Some type of priest or something. What was the Bones? Wasn't he friends with that guy?
Well, there was a priest, but
no, the Bones. Remember?
Yeah, I remember the Bones.
Was it Bones of Saint something?
Saint Andrew.
Maybe this is about him.
Oh, about Saint Andrew?
Yeah, maybe that was his old friend. Because I wasn't there, but I think you told me about him saying that this was his old friend.
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe.
It's either that or Argenvol's maybe.
Could be.
But holy symbol kind of makes me think it's that guy.
Yeah, St. Andrew.
Mara, you would definitely remember from the incident in Valakai with the bones that Strahd spoke almost in a lovingly sort of way about Andrel.
Uh-huh.
You would have picked up on that.
Yeah. Bjorn, I think you're right.
Interesting.
He claims to know my magic, ignorant of the vast wealth of lore I have discovered in the Amber Temple. And not yet fully accustomed to my new body and powers, I struggled to resist. I became as a mist and escaped. So, well, he figured out how to become a mist and escape. I wonder if he learned that at the Amber Temple. I wonder if that's something we can learn to do too.
Well, I'm thinking something about this. You said that Madame Eva said something about a holy symbol that's in the temple.
Yes. Yep.
And it said that he said that Strahd, that this symbol hold him in place,
Right.
and it made him weak. So maybe this is what we're seeking after.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. We are seeking a holy symbol, and this must be the one. Okay. Well, we've learned something. Staring at this thing for a whole day.
And it seems like this thing would weaken him, and we got to take advantage of that and not hesitate like this guy did.
Like Andrew did. Yep.
So it seems like it could stun or basically stun Strahd for a moment.
And he also has a lot of lore that he learned at the Amber Temple. So we need to make sure that we know what he knows. Or try to know what he knows.
Yeah. Hopefully it's not that vampire that turned him into whatever he is now.
All right, well.
How are you feeling? Do you want to...
I'm really wiped out. I need a day to rest, and then we'll take another look at this, and then we'll see what we can see.
Okay.
Okay. So you guys are going to do one more round of the book. All right, let's go ahead and do that. Are you going to help out, Corben?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Go ahead and roll with advantage. Investigation.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Nice.
20.
All right. Talk amongst yourselves for a minute.
Oh, I feel good. I feel good. I feel like we learned a lot the other day, and I just feel really good. Like we kind of, Corben, your help is really helping.
Glad I could help. I mean, seeing this thing now, I can see why. It's it's unusual.
It is. It is unusual. I wish it was as brilliant as the sword that you have your hands on, but I guess this takes a little more work than the sword.
Yeah, at least the sword doesn't exhaust you for the rest of the day.
No, but if you find yourself having to use it, man, you're in trouble anyway. So, and Bjorn seems to be really good at puzzling puzzles.
And with that effort that you put into this, you discover this piece of information from the tome.
Okay, Bjorn, come on over. Let's see what let's decipher this last bit, huh?
Yep, I'm listening.
I have learned to bend the very land itself to my will. I have hardened the heart of sorrow, and it gives me great power. The Morning Lord's radiance can no longer burn my flesh so long as my heart remains steadfast. The sun itself is but a minor nuisance to me now. Oh, sunlight burns his flesh. Oh, this is helpful. This is really helpful information.
Yeah, it says
The heart of sorrow.
Heart of sorrow that's capitalized.
my big thing, the morning loner's radiance no longer burns my flesh. So holy light doesn't phase him as long as his heart remains steadfast.
So
I
does
don't
that
know.
mean he created the mists?
Uh,
Because the
I'm-
mist,
I don't know.
the mist
That's how I'm
blocked the
reading.
sun, right?
Maybe he has some type of amulet that's like a heart or something.
Maybe.
It's
Or
this heart of sorrow.
I have learned to bend the very land itself to my will. So land is capitalized. He's speaking of it like it's a living thing.
Yep. So I'm thinking he created the mist so the sun doesn't hurt him.
I've hardened the heart of sorrow, and it gives me great power. The heart of sorrow.
Sounds
It
like
seems to me like that's something we need to get our hands on, whatever the heart of sorrow is.
Yeah,
Take it away from him.
Yes.
In my opinion, I think he's got like some type of relic that prevents holy light from helping him.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm a stupid dwarf, so I don't know what I'm talking about.
Oh, Bjorn.
Must be the wine giving me wisdom.
It must be. It's too bad that we don't have a whole gallon.
Or how are you guys feeling? Are you wanting to read more from the passage, or do you think this is good enough for us to take off?
I don't want to wear out our welcome. I think maybe we can get our stuff together and head out. What do you think, Corben?
yeah. I mean, after decoding this, we have to rest again, right?
Yes. Let's take a day and digest all of this and then
Leave at first light.
yeah, well, after tomorrow. Day
Yeah.
after tomorrow.
Because we just did 2 days of passages.
Mhm.
Oh, all right. Well, let's hope this Amber Temple does have some monsters in it. I'm getting antsy standing here.
Nobody took you up on your deal, on your wagers?
They're all too afraid of this physique.
I could totally see why.
Yep.
Okay, so in the last day that you have as you're resting and gaining back your strength after spending so much time studying this corrupt book, and by the way, when you have the book in your hands, it just feels evil. Like you get a general sense that this thing is not a good item, but nonetheless, it has provided you with information that you think will be helpful in your quest. In the last day, as you're resting, is there anything else that you would like to accomplish, do in camp? Any conversations you'd like to have or preparations you'd like to make?
We need to have a conversation with Casimir.
I would like to see if there's any possible like a weapon that maybe the hunters had or something that someone would want to wager, and like basically looking to see for like wrestling or like a brawl or something, just to see if someone had anything that they were willing to wager.
To do like a fight?
Yep.
Okay. Specifically a weapon. Roll an investigation check. You ask around, talk to some of the men, and there is a Vistani, a little bit larger statured guy named Olaf, who doesn't have anything to wager, but is happy to spar with you. And you get the sense that he's really sort of not super into it, but the other men in the camp are very much pushing it. Like they're excited about a little bit of a prize fight, and you can already hear them that they are talking of wagering bets on the fight. There's a pool going already before you've even solidified any sort of rules or anything like that.
All right.
People are excited and they're pushing it. In terms of what you would like to find in terms of weapon, there really isn't much. You can make an offer, and you can provide a wager. People here have a lot of bow and arrows. That is pretty prevalent. Bows. Weapons of your nature, not as prevalent. There are daggers. There are swords.
Any like fine shields or anything?
Not really. There are some worn wooden shields.
Would they be willing to wager water skin wine?
That is one thing they're not willing to wager because they really don't have much left.
All right.
Yeah, they got plenty of milk.
They have milk. Yep. They're willing to wager milk.
What about a horse? Do they have extra horses and like possibly a carriage?
Ooh. The man that you're talking to says, and in the return, what do you plan to put up then? What do you have that would equal the value of one of these fine horses in this beautiful wagon? He kicks the wagon wheel. Look at this. It's beautiful. Oh, it's well made.
I'll hold up the great sword from Sir Godfred. I keep forgetting his
Vladimir Horngard.
Vladimir.
You want to wager that?
Yeah, I do.
You have yourself a deal, my friend. Yes.
I
gotta step in when I see this happening. That sword is way better than anything else you own.
Yeah, but
I'm just saying. Like I have an axe. Do you want to wager that?
I've got a light crossbow that I can throw into this mix.
No.
I really think you should keep that sword.
I got short.
What's that?
I think you cut out a little bit there.
Did we lose him?
Yeah, I can't hear him.
Yeah, sorry. I was like, I'm tired of walking. I was like, this is well worth it. And yeah, I'm gonna wager the great sword. It's a great sword. Sorry, not great axe.
A great sword. Yep. Okay.
Isn't that a +3 sword?
It's a +2.
Oh, +2.
Yeah.
But still.
Hey, it's a horse and carriage, and they don't got a whole lot, so I don't think they were just gonna anything else.
You look over and you see Olaf has taken his shirt off, and he's sort of, he's flexing and he's kind of stretching a little bit, and the camp is just a buzz with activity, and the men you can see that they're making bets with each other. Now that you've wagered this sword, they're very, very excited. What Mara and Corben, do you have anything that you would like to wager in this fight?
I don't know what we would get in return.
Yeah. I'm not going to put myself in a position where they owe me anything.
Okay.
I'm not going to bet on anything.
All right. So
I don't think you should bet your sword on this, but I'm just throwing it out there. You do what you want.
So Olaf steps forward to you, and everybody kind of quiets down. And the two of you square off. And what we should do is let's first roll initiative. So roll initiative for me, Bjorn. Let me hop over here as well.
Oh, nice.
That's very nice. All right.
Hey, horse and carriage, guys. I mean, this would be really nice.
All right. So you have the initiative. This is just to clarify, this is an unarmed combat situation.
Yep. I'm going to rage then. Just go to just brawl, I guess, since we're just brawling, right?
Yep. We're just gonna brawl. So you can come in and use an unarmed attack. So your choice. You can either use strength or dexterity, depending on what your fighting style is for the attack roll.
All right.
And
So I'll rage and I'll use dexterity.
Okay.
So I'll do a reckless attack. So I
Okay.
got advantage.
I can't watch.
Yeah, you come in and you take a swing at him, and he puts up his guard, and you miss him as he kind of bashes your arm out of the way.
All right.
And he is going to take a swing at you. Let's see. Oh yeah. And he's going to have advantage, isn't he?
Yep.
Not too good.
2, 9,
12. Does 12 hit?
12 does not hit.
All right, so you block his punch. It's your turn.
All right. I just realized I'm not gonna do a reckless attack. I'm just gonna rage because it only gives me strength. So that
Okay.
one was a 7.
Yeah,
All right. So
as a barbarian, isn't your strength higher than your dex?
no.
Oh, okay.
He bashes that out of the way and comes at you with his own swing. And misses you with an 8. You guys are doing a really good job of blocking the punches and dipping out of the way. It's not as though they're like missing, but you guys are both pretty good fighters. He's
All right.
holding his own against you at this point.
All right. I'll go after him again.
Okay. Same thing.
Oh my
he
gosh.
ducks out of the way and he comes up. He ducks and then he comes up kind of on the side with a right hook. And you duck out of the way and he misses you. And the crowd is just like going wild at this point, waiting for something to happen.
I've got my hands like this.
Yeah,
No,
Corben's
no.
just like,
All right. This guy's a little tougher than I thought he was. All right. I'll do a flying knee. Try to catch him off guard.
Yeah, that hits him. And he takes a knee to the gut. Go ahead and you have rage damage. So, what's your rage damage?
+2. Is it just gonna be a 1d4?
It's just one. It's just 1 point of damage plus
Alright,
whatever your
so-
rage is. So it's 3 points of damage. And just for the sake of narrative here, we're gonna do whoever accumulates 10 points of damage first.
All right.
Is gonna win. All right, so that's your attack. He takes the knee to the stomach, kind of doubles over a little bit, and then looks at you and smiles. And he comes in and he starts coming at you with another right hook. 17.
17 misses. So I'm guessing I don't have a shield on. That's +1.
No,
right?
you wouldn't have a shield. Yeah. Shields
Then
are +2.
I got this Argon that's +1 AC too. I can't remember what it is though.
What is it called?
Argon?
Argon.
is it like armor?
It was something that gave me a +1. It was maybe an item or something that was given to us.
Oh, Argon Vostholt. You got
Oh.
a +1 to your AC from the dragon.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that
So
Yep.
that stays with you. That's like
Yep.
a
Alright.
blessing.
As long as
So-
the beacon is up. Yep.
Yeah.
yeah. So I'm 21 then still.
Yeah,
So no.
he like punches you, but it doesn't really land. You kind of brush it off. It's your
All
turn. Oh my god.
Maybe we should go
Man, you are
5.
not rolling
Yeah.
well.
We're gonna go 5 instead. All right. So then he comes at you with a punch.
Oh,
That's gonna be a
Oh.
22.
22 hits.
Oh, it
22
does.
hits,
All right,
yeah,
so you
yeah.
take one. You take 1 point of damage.
there you go.
That hits. Is that 3?
Yeah, because of rage.
Yep. So that you smack him across the nose, and he starts to bleed, and he just drops to his knees, and he's breathing heavy, and everybody's like, yeah, they're cheering, and some of them are like, God damn it, and they're throwing their money down, and you can see there's a combination of very excited and very disappointed people, and you
Alright.
feel pretty good as you walk around. You know, you just took one measly point of damage, no big deal.
Could I do something? Could I try to slide a hand and go to my pouch and pull out something?
Sure. What are you gonna
All
pull
right.
out?
I'm gonna pull out a green gem, and I'm gonna place it in the palm of my hand and help him up.
Okay, sure.
Then
And you're trying to
So I-
conceal it from people?
yep. So just give him something. Then as I'm pulling up, I'm like, man, you're a lot tougher than I thought you were gonna be. That was a hell of a fight.
Oh, you too. You're a hell of a fighter.
Then
Um,
I tell him I wouldn't feel right for taking your cart without giving you something. And I was like, just don't let anybody else know. So I give him the green gem as kind of respect.
He holds on to it without even looking at it, and he just puts it in his pocket. You are a noble. I appreciate you. Best of luck with your quest.
You
And
too,
he-
Olaf.
He wipes the blood from his nose, and then he reaches out and shakes your hand. And Mara, you saw the sleight of hand with the gem. Corben, you did not see it happen, but Mara did. And they walk off, and people are kind of patting him on the back, and some people come over to you and kind of do the same thing, shake your hand and pat you on the back, and everybody kind of disperses at that point, and the three of you are standing there.
Well, guys, this crew really works well with bows and arrows. I do not. I have a light crossbow and no arrows. Unless one of you two can use it, I'd like to gift this to Boris.
What is it? A crossbow?
Light crossbow.
I'm fine without it. It's up to Corben if he wants it. I don't use those wooden sticks anyways.
It's just weighing me down, and I'd rather than having to deal with that and a quiver that's empty, I'd rather give it to somebody who can use it. So Corben, if you feel you can use it, you can have it.
we don't
Otherwise,
have any bolts for it.
Mm-mm,
Okay.
I don't.
No.
Boris.
Have any
Boris.
objections?
Yeah, of course. I'm here, always listening and ready.
I know, Boris, you're always at the ready.
Yes.
This is one of the things that I'm suspicious of and love about
Thank
you. At the
you.
same
Yes,
time.
that is a Vistani thing. We are always here to chat when needed. So yes, how can I help you?
No, it's hopefully how I can help you. We very much appreciate the hospitality and the help that you've given us, letting us rest here and get prepared for our next leg of our journey. And I'd like you to have this crossbow. I don't have any arrows
Very
for it, but
nice.
I know that you will find good use for it.
That is very nice. Thank you, Mara, and thank you, Bjorn, for the entertainment and the sport. That was very fun.
It was fun for me as well. I really enjoy our stay here. You guys were quite a group.
Thank you. Well, I wish you the best of luck in your journeys. You have a horse and a cart to take with you now. We have loaded up some food supplies for you, and Casimir has told us that you head to the south to the mountains. We would like to, if you are open to it, we would like to please, yes, Alexandra, yeah. And these children come forward, and they're carrying some very thick wolf skin cloaks, pretty well made. some cold weather gear essentially for each of you. This will protect you from the elements. You are heading into a very dangerous area from the elements and other things, but this will help a bit. Please take this as a gesture of our goodwill and our hope for your success.
Thank you, friend.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
I'm assuming that we have already spoken to Casimir.
Yeah, Casimir at this point kind of walks up, and he says, "I am ready to make the journey. Shall we depart?"
Let's go.
Very well. Onward. And he starts leading you and the carriage, or not the carriage, but the cart, and you head down to the Svalich Road, back to the main, through a different route that is a little bit wider, and you can tell that they use this for traveling with their horses. But you do make it back to the main Svalich Road, and heading west, you cross over the Luna River, a river that you've seen on multiple occasions now in your travels through this land, and you head into the mists to the west with your destiny ahead of you, the dangerous task of traveling to the stronghold of the Amber Temple. And as you go, Casimir relates to you what you should expect in terms of the journey, and all of you look at each other as he talks about the dangers ahead, hoping that you have made the right decision to head south to one of the most dangerous places in Barovia. And that's where we'll end tonight's. That is where we will end tonight's session.
Yeah, it's all dangerous.
Oh boy. You ain't seen nothing like this before.
Oh no!
Oh no!
Oh, don't say that.
They haven't seen nothing like Bjorn before.
That may be
Marzin.
true.
Or Smitty.
Yeah, they've seen the interesting thing about Barovia is that they have seen quite a few adventurers that have attempted what you're attempting and have failed, but they have high hopes for your group. All right, well, nice job.
Okay.
Yeah, you made nice with the Vistani, and you learned some things from the Tome of Strahd, and now you're headed forward on your quest, which is great.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And this was just about where my brain could handle today. So thanks, guys, for
Yeah, that was perfect.
Yeah, I'm pretty exhausted too.
Yeah, that was great.
helping me out of my. This is also what I needed.
It's great to have you back. It's good to have you back.
After a week of just being kind of in a drug-induced haze, it's
Yep.
like this has really been good for my brain. Thank you.
Not a drug like abuse haze. Let's just clarify that, because we're still recording. It was something else, something different. But let's go ahead and do this. Let's say goodbye to the recording, because we may have conversations that diverge from what we want to record. But thanks a lot, everybody who's checking this out on YouTube. We appreciate it. Maybe someday we'll stream this live. It'd be kind of fun to throw this up on Twitch one of these days. So we'll see you guys. Thanks a lot, and nice job, guys. I hope
Yeah, it was fun.
I hope things go well.